Hey guys, it's Sim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the, what's today's date? 1st of July, I should have known that. 1st of July, 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight at not just AEW Fyter Fest, not just NXT Great American Bash, but both of these really good shows that I actually really enjoyed. Let me fix my camera here because it's looking like garbage. I know I sound like garbage because I've been sick for 4 days. So if you guys think I sound like crap, I apologize. But with that, I want to basically welcome everybody here to the PWUnlimited Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. Again, a little backstory to why we're not doing this on YouTube anymore. Basically, the YouTube live streams aren't making us any money. For the amount of time that we're doing the live streams on Mondays, on Wednesdays, on Fridays, sometimes on Tuesdays with Nick, sometimes on the weekend for a pay-per-view, they're actually a money loss, to be 100% honest, you know? So with them being a money loss, we thought, hey, let's move everything over to Twitch. Let's try and get Twitch going. Once we hit the certain parameters of Twitch, then we can start making money here on Twitch. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long, because if we can hit all those parameters in the next 2-3 weeks, bada bing, bada boom, we've already hit some of them. There we go. So with that, we're just here on Twitch now, doing 99% of our live streams. If there's like a super breaking news that we have to go live for, those will probably stay over on, what's the word I'm looking for? On YouTube. So say like back in the day when Daniel Bryan got cleared, Nick and I, as soon as we could, jumped live on YouTube and talked about it. So with that, stuff like that will still stay, excuse me, punch the microphone, will still stay live on YouTube, but most of the podcast recording stuff will be live here on Twitch. And then, just looking at a couple of things, make sure everything's running smooth. Then, once they're done here on Twitch, we will be uploading them. Most of the time, hopefully the goal is same night to YouTube, if not first thing the next morning. But the goal is same night to YouTube. So with that, thank you to all of you 28 people that are here so far on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. I actually also got to take, I got to do some shifting around of graphics and whatnot. But, again, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here. And we got to say who we've got here. We've got Broken King Slender. We've got El Super Mex. We've got Only Luna. Sin Saturday. Eric 1973. Derek Bocek. Maverick 505378. Hannah Hohoon. I hope I said that right. Jacko Rowell. Sean Cook. X Rocka 26. Wayne Montgomery. Sean Cook. I think I said that name already. J Penny. Diego TV 21. Asalios. And many more of you. You say I'm having a lag issue? Is it video or is it... If I'm having a lag issue, I can possibly fix that. Alright, we may have fixed it. So, just saying. So just let me know if everything's running smooth. On my end, everything looks fine. So with that, let's jump in and talk about AEW Fyter Fest. Thought I was going to say Dynamite. Thought I was going to mess up. Nope, I said Fyter Fest. No, I'm not what? Not running smooth? And also, excuse me, I've still got this nasty cough. So with that, AEW Fyter Fest does open with a tag team match. It's MJF and Wardlow taking on Luchasaurus. No, Jungle Express. I always fuck that up. Jungle Express. MJF cut a strong promo on Jungle Boy early. He said he thought he and Wardlow had dispatched a Jungle Boy and a dinosaur once and for all. He ripped on Jungle Boy, going through his daddy's money and said Luchasaurus was greener than his tongue. MJF said he finally understood why this match was made, even though he and Wardlow had already beaten Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. He said it's because they're in a ratings war, and you can't win without MJF on the front lines. I thought that was a cool line. I thought that was a really cool line. So the match itself was actually a really great opening match. I really enjoyed it a lot. Excuse me. I'll have to mute myself next time I cough because it's pretty wicked. So Jungle Boy and MJF started things off. Jungle Boy hit some strikes. He tried to Hurricane Rana off the apron, but Wardlow caught him, and MJF and Wardlow took control. Jungle Boy finally made a hot tag to Luchasaurus, who ran wild with tail whips and a variety of kicks. Wardlow and MJF traded powerful strikes. Luchasaurus hit a Death Valley driver into a double down. At one point, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus hit a tandem cutter on Wardlow. Jungle Boy hit Wardlow with a Poison Rana. Excuse me. Marco Stunt distracted the referee so Luchasaurus can hit a powerbomb on MJF. MJF hit Luchasaurus with a thrust kick, and all four men went down. The finish of the match saw MJF accidentally hit Wardlow with his Dynamite Diamond Ring. Wardlow avoided one accidental punch with the ring, but MJF had his arm kicked into Wardlow's face. Luchasaurus hit a series of kicks and pinned Wardlow with a standing moonsault. I do see some of you saying like you having lagging issues. It's running fine on my end where I'm previewing the stream, so a little weird. I'm going to check one other thing really fast. Give me 2 seconds. Again, we're technical difficulties, you know. I usually don't have issues on Twitch when I stream on my Twitch channel, my normal Twitch channel, so we'll see if everything runs well. I'm gonna CCC Yeah, everything seems to be running fine for me, so I'm gonna go with that. If some of you guys are having an issue, maybe, unfortunately, it might be on your end. I don't want to say that, but we'll see. We'll see. Give me 2 seconds to check one thing, because more of you guys are saying it now. Yeah, see, Gomez says it's perfectly fine for him. So let me just check one thing. Give me 1 second, guys. Bear with me. Why am I not hearing any audio out of my end? Jaggone it. Let's try it this way. Yeah, everything's working fine for me. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is for some of you, but unfortunately, everything's running fine for me. So, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, they defeat Wardlow and MJF. Lance Archer and Joey Janela had a pull apart in the crowd. Remember, they're supposed to face next week. At this point, I saw 0 people wearing masks. I know Vicky Guerrero was wearing a mask because she took a picture. Well, at least before the show started, she was wearing a mask because she took a picture of herself in a mask. Yet, here's the thing. I did see a picture with about 7 or 8 different AEW wrestlers in the crowd before the show started. None of them had a mask on. So, I don't know. Next up, we got the AEW Women's Title match. Hikaru Shida versus Penelope Ford. Oh, and I forgot to state, Jericho's been on commentary since the start of the show. So Jericho called this match the best of Ford's career, and he was right. Aubrey Edwards at one point ejected Kip Sabian. Well, actually, before the opening bell, he ejected her. Bastard came out later, though. So Shida tried repeating the quick win she picked up last week with the running knee strike, and at the opening bell, she tried for a Falcon Arrow, but Ford slipped out. The match went to the floor when they sent each other into the barricade. Back inside, Ford took over with the handspring back elbow in the corner. Ford hit a German into a bridge for a 2 count before a commercial break. They traded strikes after the break. Ford hit an inverted DDT for a 2. They had a slap fight. She'd hit an enziguri. Ford hit a nice pump kick. She'd blocked a stunner and grabbed a sleeper. They botched a backbreaker, but they recovered well. She'd hit a Falcon Arrow. Ford rolled through and cradled Sheeta for a near fall. Ford rolled outside of the ring and grabbed the title belt. Aubrey Edwards was like, oh, no, you're not using the belt. And Kip Sabian came back out with the kendo stick. Sheeta ducked the kendo stick shot, and Sabian took a shot instead. Ford jumped back in the ring and hit a stunner for a near fall. Sheeta hit a Falcon Arrow before kicked out. Sheeta then hit 2 running knees, pin, boom, there we go. AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida retains her belt. So next up we get a video package. Taz breaks down Jon Moxley's double arm DDT. We then got the TNT Championship match, Cody defending against Jake Hager. Cody entered wearing a new shirt that had an old school Great American Bash theme feel to it. Goddamn fucking Cody. When WWE does something, you gotta play off of it, and you gotta be like, hey, look at my little motherfucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Jab at WWE. Fucking always. Get over it. You even said in an interview you don't care that they use Great American Bash. Because, why? They own the name. There's nothing Cody can do about it. Jesus fucking Christ. Actually, let me see if I can find a picture of this if you guys didn't notice it. Because he didn't have the shirt on long. Let me see. Let me see if I can find a picture of this. Because this was kind of like, are you kidding me, Cody? Yeah. Here it is. So let me see if I can get this on the screen. Boom, 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 boom. So, this is the old school Great American Bash logo, as you see here on the screen. This was Cody's T-shirt. The American Nightmare Cody. Do you see the difference? Let me zoom in on this real fast. Look at that. The Great American Bash. // The American Nightmare Cody. // Like, are ya fucking kidding me right now? Are ya fucking kidding me right now, Cody? It doesn't cease to amaze me. God damn it, the intro played again. It doesn't cease to amaze me what this fucker will do to take jabs at WWE. The match itself was really good, though. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Cody had Arn, and Jake had Catalina. They started off very slow. They did some mat wrestling and traded ankle lock counters. Cody hit a springboard dive to the floor, and things picked up a bit. Hager came back with some throws. The match spilled to the outside. Hager went after Arn and shoved him against the barricade. Cody went after Hager and ended up taking a suplex on the floor before a commercial break. At one point, we saw Catalina walking on Cody's back during the break. Remember, picture in picture. After the break, they got back in the ring. Hager used a sleeper hold. Cody walked the buckle and tried to break the hold and got a 2 count, but Hager kept the hold in. Cody finally broke the hold and hit a springboard cutter off the top. Now, Hager tried a Vader bomb here. Didn't really get much of it. Got a 2 count off of it. Tried a second Vader bomb, and Cody blocked it and hit an inverted DDT for a 2. Hager hit a throw off the buckle for a 2. The finish saw Hager take the ref. Catalina slapped Cody. Hager went back to the ankle. Arn got in the ring and took the ref. Dustin ran down and punched Hager. Cody went for the crossroads. Hager blocked it. Hager hit a Uranagi and a float over into an arm triangle. Cody postured and pinned Hager. Again, took the ref. How many times in this goddamn match? A lot of taking the ref happened tonight. And I don't mean just a little. I mean a whole hell of a too much lot. For my liking. Excuse me. I thought the match overall was really, really good. Didn't care for the finish when Catalina took the ref. Hager took the ref. Catalina slapped Cody. Arn took the ref. Dustin came down, punched Hager. It's just too much. Why do we need all this bullshit in our finishes? How about we just give us a real damn finish? If Hager's gonna lose and Cody's gonna keep the belt, then fuck. Let Cody just hit him with the crossroads. Why do we need Dustin to come down and punch him? Why? Why? I loved the match, but at the same time I hated it for the finish. To be honest, Cody's been trying to make this TNT title legit. Going out here, having these great matches and picking up the victory after these great long matches. But with all the bullshit at the end, it kind of made it just seem like, oh, Cody snuck into this victory. Maybe he doesn't deserve to be the champion because he had to have help. He had to get Arn to help him, his brother to help him. He couldn't even keep Hager down. His brother had to knock him out for him. Oh, it's just like, I don't know. And I know some are going to say, well, the finish didn't come directly after Dustin got him. No, it didn't, but then why was Dustin needed? It was just a little too much. So Hager jumped up after the match, like right after the match, like he no-sold all of it. Hager thought Cody passed out in the hold and thought, well, he had won the match. Hager realized that no, he didn't win the match, so he knocked out the referee. A bunch of refs and agents ran down to get Hager out of there. Again, I get it. You want to keep Hager looking like a monster, like a badass, but you don't want to beat him. But you gotta beat him. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. We had a Darby Allen hype video. He was skateboarding and stuff. It was cool. Don't really know what it's supposed to accomplish. Didn't say anything like, I'm coming next week, or I've got a match in 2 weeks. Nope. So Orange Cassidy made his way out to the ringside area. Didn't go down to the ring, though. He ended up sitting over by commentary and put his feet up on the desk. Remember, Jericho on commentary. Excuse me. So next up, we got a tag team match. Private Party with Matt Hardy versus Santana and Ortiz. I thought there was a lot of great action in this match. Quinn and Cassidy ran wild early on with spectacular dives. Cassidy in particular hit a great dive to the floor. Santana cut Cassidy off with the backdrop. Ortiz tagged in and hit a DDT. And Santana and Ortiz established control. Quinn got a tag during a commercial and hit some dives before, well, he was cut off. Santana at one point took out Cassidy on the floor. Ortiz took the ref. Again, more taking the fucking refs. Santana tried to use a mad ball on Quinn, but Matt Hardy grabbed it from him. Santana and Ortiz went for the street sweeper. Quinn pulled Santana's headband over his eyes so he couldn't see, and then blocked the move. Private Party then hit the gin and juice on Santana, and Quinn picked up the pin. Ortiz was seconds late, just mere seconds late from making the save, but again, his team loses. With that, we then learned that Private Party are now the new number one contenders to the tag team titles, and we'll be getting a tag team title shot next week. Why? Why add a seventh match? Well, it's not quite a seventh match. It's a sixth match, because we learned right after this that Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage is no longer taking place next week. Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage will now be taking place in 2 weeks on TNT at what they are calling Fight for the Fallen. Now, the issue here is Jon Moxley did not come to Jacksonville this week. He stayed in Vegas with his wife, Renee Young, who we know is feeling a lot better because she made her enthusiastic announcement today on Instagram about her cookbook. Hot Bob, there's nothing I can do to fix it. It's your end. I'm not having an issue. I've got the actual stream. Look, streaming on my screen. I'm watching it as you guys are, and I haven't had an issue. So unfortunately, it's got to be an issue on your end, bud. And I don't want to say that. I don't like saying that it's your guys' issues. But I haven't had an issue yet, so just saying. And I know you never have issues when I stream on my regular Twitch, so I don't know what the difference is. But, again, Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage will be taking place in 2 weeks at Fight for the Fallen. Taz and Cage come down and cut a promo saying that they're upset with all of this. Taz said Moxley didn't want to come to Fyter Fest out of the fear of the health of everybody there. Taz sounds like nothing more than an excuse. He said he knows that Moxley's been tested twice, and Moxley has tested negative twice. He said if you come here, you'll be tested again. And if you don't test positive, then you're just a little chicken shit. Taz promised that Cage will take the title from Moxley, dumbass, at Fight for the Fallen. Taz then ended it with saying, well, who better than Brian Cage? And if you don't know where that came from, the who better catchphrase actually comes from Chris Kanyon, who was a big influence on Brian Cage early on. Brian Cage became a real big fan of Chris Kanyon. Chris Kanyon then became somebody who really influenced him early on in his career before he unfortunately passed away. So I love that he's using the old Chris. Like some people might go, oh, why is he just stealing somebody else's catchphrase? Yes, you can say that, but this time it works. It works that he's taking somebody's catchphrase because it's from a guy that he considered at one point a mentor, that he considered at one point a friend, that he considered somebody he can look up to. So now he's doing it not to steal the catchphrase, but to pay tribute to one Chris Kanyon with the old who better than Brian Cage thing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm honestly surprised he hasn't done it before. All right. So going forward, we have our main event. It is the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. It is Kenny Omega and Hangman Page defending against the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent. So Omega and Taylor started off this match. They had a very basic exchange before tagging out. Trent and Omega had a back and forth. Taylor and Trent doubled up on Page and got the real advantage of the match. Page made his own comeback. Page and Omega then went to... Well, I wrote that wrong. Oh, no, I didn't read it wrong. I didn't write it wrong. I read it wrong because, well, I'm a little dyslexic. Page and Omega double teamed, went 2-on-1 against Trent. Omega hit a Katara Crusher. Page hit a standing shooting star press. Omega and Page remained in control throughout the commercial break. After the break, we see FTR coming out on the stage with some beach chairs and beers. Taylor got the tag and made a comeback. He suplexed Omega into Page on the floor against the barricade. Page and Trent got tags as they went back and forth. Omega went for You Can't Escape, but Trent got his knees up and blocked. Taylor tagged in and hit a spike piledriver on Omega. Page broke up the pin. Page and Omega went for the last call, but Trent dodged it. And Trent and Taylor then hit the strong zero on Page. Omega broke up the pin. Omega tried a one-winged angel on Taylor. Taylor broke it up and hit a Michinoku driver. Best Friends dig their hug spot, but it failed because Page hit a pump kick to Taylor. Pumped him right out of the ring. Trent and Page traded strikes. Trent blocked a sunset flip and sat down in a cradle for a 2. Page hit a deadeye on Trent for a near fall. Finish of the match then saw Paige hit the buckshot lariat on Trent for the victory. Bada bing, bada boom. All champions tonight retained. Nobody became new champions. So after the match, and I love this main event. It was great. After the match, FTR come down. They offer some celebratory beers to the tag champs. Paige took one. Omega took one, but then he poured it out. And FTR were looking at him like, what the fuck, guy? We offer you beers and you're going to pour it out? Paige drank his. Wheeler and Hardwood got upset. Paige noticed, got between them. Bucks then ran down, got between them, separated everything. The show goes off the air with, I guess, Bucks and Paige trying to hold back FTR because they're mad that Omega poured out the beer, but we know that Omega doesn't drink. And I think it was Excalibur even on commentary noted, Omega does only like milk. So, yeah. I didn't get the finish. I mean, I kind of get it. FTR wants a tag title shot. They want to go after tag champs. Next week, they already got a match. Next week, there's already a tag title match. What do we do? I don't know. But, since Saturday says Kenny can't drink beer, is there like a specific reason he can't drink it? Or is he like me, someone that just doesn't drink alcohol? Because I don't drink alcohol. I mean, I can't say don't. Because I'll take a beer every now and then. But I'm not going to be one that goes, let's go have some beers. I'll say let's go to the bar and I'll have a soda. But I'm not going to drink most of the time. 98% of the time, I'm not going to drink. But I thought it was a little weird of a finish, especially just to go off the air with them all arguing. They're all arguing in the ring. You got, like I said, Bucks, FTR, and the tag champs. Last thing we hear is, the tag team situation is really heating up here in AEW. Now, let's send it... Or, no. What did JR say? The tag team situation is really heating up here in AEW. Now, don't change that channel. What did he say? He said, join us next week. Next up, The Longest Yard. Something like that. But yeah, and the show just fades. And we see babes in bikinis jumping in pools. Courtney Cox hosting a party. And Adam Sandler drunk on the bed at the beginning of The Longest Yard. When he's saying, I don't want to wear that sailor suit. What are you, making me your monkey boy? Love that movie. I love Longest Yard. But I digress. That was NXT. No. I'm looking at the NXT logo now because I just pulled up the NXT rundown. No, that was AEW. AEW. Fight. No. I'm all fucked up. Fyter Fest. Fight for the Fallen's in 2 weeks. But I thought the show tonight was really, really good. I'd probably rate it 7.5, almost an 8. But the reason I can't give it an 8 is, well, the reason I can't give it an 8 is because all the fucking taking of the ref. All the, we got to distract the ref so we can get interference. AEW does that way too much, and they did it way too goddamn much tonight. I hate when they do it. I hate when they do it, and they did it too much tonight. But what else do we have? We have NXT. We have NXT. Great American Bash. So Great American Bash started off with a Fatal 4-Way Elimination #1 Contenders match. Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, winner, becomes #1 contender for Io Shirai's Women's Championship. Candice looked strong from the start, well, until she was triple teamed. Excuse me. LeRae got in a lot of offense before Yim and Nox briefly teamed up on her. Yim with a code breaker, and then she covered her to eliminate her. Candice LeRae first out. Mia Yim was next to run wild. She fired up in doing 2 tope spots after sending the other 2 women, Dakota, let's call her Dakai, I mixed her name together, Dakota and Tegan to the outside. Sorry guys, I've been sick, so my throat's still really dry, and all this talking's drying it out even more. So we got to keep drinking, keeping my larynx, my vocal cords lubricated, I guess you can say. Nox tried to catch Mia with a crucifix, but Yim kicked out to escape. Yim delivered soul food to Nox, but Nox fell out of the ring before Yim can pin her. Kai snuck in and caught Yim with an O'Connor roll, and Kai bridged it to cover her, eliminating Mia Yim. Final two come down to Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox. Sky worked over Nox for some heat. They were exchanging strikes, hard strikes too. And they had a lot of people in the crowd doing the whole, yeah, boo, yeah, boo, yeah, boo. Kind of what's the word I'm looking for? What's the fucking word I'm looking for? Too planned out, I guess you can say. Crowd then started chanting NXT moments later. Nox at one point fired up on Kai and showed a lot of domination. They traded some near falls. Kai showed her a mean streak, and Nox never backed down. Nox was able to escape a crucifix. Nox was also able to escape a submission finisher. She executed her Molly go round, and then with a 360 off the top rope into a press. Nox then hit the shiniest of wizards, and she covered Kai for the decisive victory. Tegan Nox is the new number one contender to the NXT Women's Champion. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you, Gary Prax, for the host. I know there was somebody else that hosted earlier that I missed. I will have Twitch notifications and stuff pop up on screen going forward. I just didn't have time to set everything up today. Anyways, I digress. We don't know when the women's title match is going to take place. I don't think it's next week because of how tonight's show ended. I think there's something different with EO next week. I don't know yet. I can check and see if anything had been announced on Twitter. Because only 3 things were announced for next week's show during tonight's show. See if WWE announced anything. They haven't announced. All right, so we'll get into what I think is going to be a big match next week in a little bit. Since Saturday, thank you for the advice. I don't have any tea. I usually don't drink tea, so I don't keep any on hand. And you know, with all the COVID stuff, I try not to go to the store that much. I go like twice a month, once every other week when I need food. But thank you for the advice. I never thought, I didn't think of that. He says, help my throat, tea and honey. I've heard of it before. Never thought, didn't really think of it though. So next up, we had a great match. Well, actually, I digress. Damian Priest cut a promo on Cameron Grimes. He challenged him to a rematch. They told us that Sasha versus Io in the main event will be commercial free, so that's where your limited commercials come from. Then we got a really fun match. Timothy Thatcher and Oney Lorcan. Timothy Thatcher and Oney Lorcan grappled early. I wrote that weird. There were some takedowns, leg locks, arm locks, counters, reversals, 2 counts, chain wrestling, a lot of bullshit, but in a good way. Like, a lot of stuff happened, but it wasn't like boom, 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 too much to take to, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't so much happening at once that it was hard to focus and keep track of what was going on. Lorcan was the first to use some strikes as he hit Thatcher with chops. They did an Irish whip spot, and Lorcan was knocked over the ropes as he went to commercial break. Thatcher set up his belly-to-belly spot. That was a beaut, just a beaut. There was a fighting spirit exchange. Lorcan caught Thatcher in a half crab. There was a notable, that was notable because Thatcher talked about how painful the hold can be last week during one of his seminar skits. Thatcher eventually worked his way into applying a Fujiwara armbar in the middle of the ring. Lorcan was forced to tap out, but Thatcher wouldn't break the hold. He finally did break the hold, just as his face broke out in a sadistic smile. I love this match. I wouldn't say it was the best match of the night for either show, but I really enjoyed this match. Next up, we got a match that I really didn't enjoy. Probably I enjoyed this, I don't know if I can say the least of anything tonight, but probably the second least, because I didn't really like, even though it was probably one of, so going back to AEW really fast, even though it was probably one of Penelope Ford's best matches, didn't really care for it much. This match, didn't care for probably just as much. It was Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah and Robert Stone. Too much comedy in this match for what you would expect from Rhea Ripley, to be honest. Robert Stone had a ring jacket on. He was pretending to be Mark Merrow. He also had authentic goggles, like Horace Grant from back in the day. He did the Ollie Shuffle, and Ripley then proceeded to beat him up. Ollie did a tilt-a-whirl head scissors to help turn the tide. There was a cat and mouse spot before Stone crashed and burned on a plancha. Basically, he went to dive through the ropes, and, well, Rhea just sidestepped it. And he splat. But that allowed Aaliyah to fly through the ropes and actually take down Ripley. After commercial break, Stone and Aaliyah were actually getting the heat on Rhea Ripley, having a little bit of the control. Stone applied a Boston Crab and Aaliyah applied a crossface. There was more man-on-woman violence that WWE usually allows here, and I was very, very shocked by this. They gave Ripley a double suplex. That led to a spot a few seconds later where Ripley reversed a second attempted suplex. Ripley then began the comeback. Ripley cleaned house. She manhandled Stone. Ripley applied her standing leg lock finish on both Stone and Aaliyah simultaneously. After a stereo prism trap, the heels tapped out. She was just sitting there racking both of them. It was actually impressive looking. Very impressive looking. Made her look like a total badass as she stood tall over both of them at the end. For Rhea at the end, it made her look good, but most of the match was too comedical for, excuse me, now I got hiccups, for me to really care for much of it. Next up, we had the strap match. And they had to tell us, I don't know how many times, the first ever strap match in, well, NXT history. So we got Dexter Loomis versus Roderick Strong. The reason it's a strap match is because last week, well, Roddy just ran away from their match and said, fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore. Strap match, you're tied together, you can't just leave. Excuse me. So Strong was apprehensive and fought not to get hooked to the strap at first. Loomis then strapped them together, and Strong begged off. Strong was eventually able to cut off Loomis, but not for long. Strong took a big bump off the middle rope. The fight spilled to the outside, and they fought up the ramp to the stage. Loomis opened the trunk of the car parked at the top of the set. Strong started to freak out at the sight of an open trunk. He then peppered Loomis with knees and kicks. Strong gave Loomis an Olympic slam on the floor, which actually looked like it hurt pretty much, or pretty decently. Strong took over here. Strong tried to hog-tie Loomis at one point, then applied the stronghold. Loomis not only escaped, but was taking over on offense when Bobby Fish ran in to attack Loomis. Fish swept Loomis's feet out from under him, and he splatted right on the apron. Hardest part of the ring, don't you know? Loomis then kicked out of a pinning attempt, and he hulked up. Fish was suplexed and knocked around by Loomis. Strong was sent colliding into Fish. Finishing the match saw Loomis wrap up Strong with a strap and then spun him around with a Rainmaker Uranagi combo. Loomis then applied his finishing move, again, had him wrapped up in the strap, the silencer they called it. And, well, Roderick Strong had to tap out. So they made Dexter Loomis look strong, no pun intended, over strong in defeating him this week. I was a little bit, well, shocked by that. I really expected, Dexter Loomis has been getting the best of Undisputed Era for how many weeks now? And so I expected Bobby Fish to play a part in the finish and help Roddy. But no, Roddy lost. Roddy tapped. A little shocked by that one. Since Saturday says that reminds me of the bull rope match with Eddie and JBL. Yeah, also the Russian strap match with John Cena and Rusev. We've seen a lot of strap matches back in the day and stuff. Also, guys, I forgot to mention, if you want to give me your thoughts on tonight's shows, either AEW Dynamite or NXT Great American Bash, you can do so by texting into 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. Text your thoughts to 510-906-1341. Again, I don't have any of the fancy stuff set up for Twitch yet. I should have had it already, but I've been sick for 4 days. No excuse. Sorry. Anyways. We got a amazing video package hyping up Keithley versus Adam Cole next week for the double title match. It was basically, so a prime target is usually 15 to 30 minutes. This was maybe 5-ish, maybe 8, maybe not even that long, maybe about 5. And this was just great. Keithley talked about how he's been dominant over the last year-ish. Adam Cole said that Keithley wouldn't have had many of his opportunities if it wasn't for him. He said Keithley wouldn't have been able to shine on SmackDown if he didn't defeat Daniel Bryan. He wouldn't have been able to shine on Raw if he didn't defeat Seth Rollins. He wouldn't have been able to shine at Survivor Series if he didn't lead NXT into battle there. He said NXT wouldn't have even been considered for the Royal Rumble if it wasn't for him. Keithley was able to look like a monster against Brock Lesnar. And basically, both men said, I'm going to make history when I become the double champion next week. Adam Cole said this will be undisputed. And Keithley said, I'm undefeatable. I thought he was going to say I'm limitless, but he said he's undefeatable. So with that, we see Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano backstage being interviewed when all of a sudden Candice just storms off. She goes, oh no, and just runs off. And Johnny starts talking and he kind of looks over and he's like, that's my wife or something like that. And so he runs over and we see Mia and Candice brawling. And for some reason, Swerve is there. So Johnny grabs Swerve and throws him off the women. And it's like, hey, leave my wife alone. Get out of their stuff. It has nothing to do with you. Bada boom, there we go. We then learned that, well, Mia, Candice, next week, street fight. I also would assume that maybe this leads to Johnny versus Swerve. NXT Cruiserweight Champion Santos Escobar came out to the ring. He was out there with Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. They call themselves El Legado del Fantasma. Escobar talked about the state of Lucha Libre. He said it's now a sideshow. El Legado del Fantasma is going to rediscover the true roots of Lucha Libre in their image. He said they're going to restore its honor and leave a great legacy. They will build an empire. Drake Maverick would then come down wearing a neck brace, interrupting this segment. He rushed into the ring and proceeded to get his butt kicked by all three men. The henchman held Maverick down as Escobar went for some shots. But Breezango would come out and make the save. Breezango cleared the ring of the henchman, so Escobar powdered out, ran away, said, fuck this. Fandango then challenged El Legado del Fantasma to a 6-man tag team match next week. Great American Bash, Night 2. Match was made official after the break. So next week at NXT Great American Bash, live on the USA Network, we will be seeing Santos Escobar. I switch it around sometimes. Escobar Santos. It's Santos Escobar, the Cruiserweight Champion. Raul Mendoza. I'm trying to remember all these guys' names because we don't see them that often. They don't say their names that much because they're still kind of newish. Raul Mendoza, Joaquin Wilde, taking on the team of Drake Maverick, Tyler Breeze, and Fandango. Cameron Grimes then cut a promo, and he blew off the challenge of Damian Priest, and instead called out the winner of next week's double title match, Keith Lee and Adam Cole. John Von Smithsonian said still lagging for me. I honestly don't know what to say, guys. I want to apologize as much as I can. But I've had the stream here going this entire time, all 45 minutes so far, and haven't had an issue. Others haven't had issues, so I'm not exactly sure what the problem is. And I do apologize. So next up, we got the main event with no commercial interruptions. It was Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks, champion versus champion, non-title match. So Banks arrived riding in a convertible alongside her tag team championship partner Bayley. Also joined her riding in the car. And they also had Sasha's dog with them, Riley. They started methodical and soon quickened up the pace. Shirai with a missile drop kick sent Banks rolling outside, and then Shirai flew through the ropes with a high cross to the floor. I'm going to say right now, this match was as good, if not better, than we all expected. I still liked the tag team main event on Dynamite better, but this was like just slightly under it by like a tick. So Shirai was looking for a superplex of some sorts when Bayley distracted her by honking a car horn. Banks then tripped up Shirai, covered her for a near fall. Banks continued to work over Shirai for a while. There was a double down spot at one point, and then Shirai started to mow down Banks with tackles after they rose to their feet. Banks at one point countered a double underhook, and she went to set up a submission, but Shirai avoided it. Shirai was caught in the Banks statement eventually, but Shirai was able to counter by cradling Banks. They traded cradles momentarily before Shirai hit Banks with a double stomp. Shirai went into her finishing sequence as she delivered a double knees in a corner. Shirai then climbed the ropes and seemingly was going for a moonsault press, but Banks tripped her up, got her in the tree of woe. Banks began to taunt Shirai, with Shirai hanging helplessly upside down in the corner. Banks slapped her across the face. Banks measured her for a running knee strike, only for Shirai to dodge the move, and Banks crashed in the corner. Shirai would then go for a moonsault, but Banks rolled out of the way. Banks avoided a second attempt of a tiger feint kick. They traded strikes, but Banks inside the ropes and Shirai on the apron. Banks at one point, after throwing Shirai into the plexiglass, gloated at ringside with Bayley before she climbed the turnbuckle. Banks went for a frog splash and Shirai countered to catch her in a crossface. Banks was struggling to make it to the ropes when Bayley tossed one of the tag titles into the ring. As the referee was removing it, Bayley, with an illegal cheap shot, struck Shirai. This broke the submission. Excuse me. Bayley then started like a tug of war, you can say, with the referee over the belt that was in the ring. Meanwhile, Banks went to grab the other belt, but couldn't actually grab it because all of a sudden, who was there holding the other end? Well, it was none other than Raw Women's Champion, Asuka. Asuka would suddenly appear. Asuka would then spit the green mist in Sasha Banks' face, and Shirai would win with the schoolgirl. No, I take that back. Shirai would go for the schoolgirl, only get a 2. Shirai then dropped Banks with the palm strike, wiped out Bayley with a wrecking ball. Shirai then hit a moonsault. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Banks is pinned. Now, I know what you're going to say. You liked this match, but there was so much interference. You didn't like all the interference in AEW. The reason I didn't care for all this interference, and I could be wrong, that I think this is actually leading to something other than in AEW where the interference usually leads to nothing. I think next week, the main event, or one of the main matches, could be, well, it's not going to be the main event because the main event is the world title and the North America title, but I think, honestly, we're going to be getting Io and Asuka versus Sasha and Bayley next week. What a fucking hell of a match that would be. Io and Asuka versus Bayley and Sasha. That match, take my money now, even though it's on free TV and I don't pay for cable. Like, god damn. But if I had to rate this episode of NXT the Great American Bash, I'd give it probably the same score I gave AEW, a 7.5. But with that, I want to thank all of you who came over here with me to Twitch. And, well, we had roughly the same amount of numbers we normally do for a Wednesday night live stream on YouTube. So that was really good that we didn't really lose many of you, I guess I can say. Most of you did come over here with us to Twitch, and I really greatly do appreciate that. Remember, if you guys missed any of this, it will be left on demand here on Twitch. I forget exactly how long it stays on demand, but hopefully either tonight or first thing in the morning, it will go up on the AEW. Nope. I'm looking at the AEW logo. The PWUnlimited YouTube channel. It will go up there as well. So you will have options to watch this if you did miss any of this. Again, all of our live streams going forward, our podcast live streams and whatnot, will be right here on Twitch, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. Like I said again, I do want to say thank you to everybody who did join me for tonight's AEW and NXT review. I want to thank you guys. I can't thank you guys enough for really just coming with me over here to Twitch. And like I said, I'm kind of shocked by it because I didn't think I would get all of you guys coming. I thought, I'll get maybe half of the normal number of viewers we get for a Wednesday show. No, we got almost all of you. Usually we get about 50 concurrent. And at one point it was up there at 60. So awesome. Also, another cool thing I can do here on Twitch is, hey, if you guys want to watch some more stuff, I can send you over to another streamer that I support. And I'm going to do that right now. It's called rating. If you guys are unaware on Twitch, what I can do is I can say, hey, why don't you guys, who are all here together in my stream, go check out another streamer. This streamer I'm going to send you to is one of my buddies, Crowd. He is playing some video games right now. He is playing Paladins. So if you guys are interested in that, you can head over there. I'm going to send you guys there right now. Let me see something really quick. But yeah, I do want to thank you guys for joining me here tonight to talk about tonight's shows. And with that, thank you guys for joining me here tonight talking AEW. Have a good night. Let's send you guys over here to Crowd's channel. We're going to raid him with all 46 of you. So again, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight. Go check out Crowd____.